You gotta play the reverse game of what a lot of you play, and it's the game that most people don't recognize that I'm playing, which is, I don't talk shit up front. I talk shit post-game. You know why you don't want to talk about your losses? Because you told everybody how much you were gonna crush it when you started this. That's why. I was 33 years old before I ever made my first video about business and built a $60 million business already. That's why it's fun. You know, like too many of you are like, oh, Susan, watch what I'm gonna do. And then you don't do anything and you're like, fuck, I don't want Susan to think I'm a loser. That's why. So how do you do it? Stop promising shit up front, put your head down and execute, and then post-game your success. This way you're not talking at all until you're there. Too many of you front. You peacock up front. You tell everybody how you're gonna do it. That fake confidence smells like shit to winners. I smell that fake confidence on you every day.
It's good.
So what happens is winners can smell it on you, so they may be nice to you, but they're disrespecting you in your head. Non-winners don't know the difference, but then when you don't win, you look like shit, and now where the fuck do you go? So let's talk about how great you are. You know? And then the other thing, this industry especially, this is another thing I absolutely do not like about this industry. People sell fake lifestyle. Like, can we stop taking fucking money out of the bank, putting it on a bed, taking a picture of it, and acting like we're so fucking awesome? Can we stop like teaming up with 4 dudes to rent a private jet to take a fucking photo and make it seem like that's the life we're living? You're not fooling anybody. And who do you think you're attracting into your fucking stream with that horse shit? Let me save you some time. You're attracting somebody who fucking wants it way too fast, doesn't want to put in the work, thinks you're so special. Do you know why I'm not as popular as I should be? People don't want to do what I'm telling them to do. You know why there's a bunch of hucksters that kind of look like me? They're also charismatic, but you know, they have a different story and they have followers and people give a shit. It's because they're selling people what they want to hear. I'm never going to tell you what you want to hear. Let me tell you the straight up truth. It's the most true of all time. Nobody in the history of time has ever been successful without hard work. Nobody. It has never happened. It's never happened. Do you know how many LeBron Jameses there are? A lot more than you think. Like Eddie Curry was a physical freak. Like, there's Ralph Sampson was a physical freak. Like, Ryan Leaf is a bigger physical freak than Peyton Manning. Nobody. And so what you do is you're like, well, look at LeBron. He was built like a fucking mountain. That's why. It's because he fucking didn't give a shit about science class in 6th grade and just focused on his game. And put in the work. That's why. Zero times in the history did somebody else make you the money for you, underneath you. Your mama might have made the money for you and you inherited it, but you're not hiring anybody who's gonna make you all your money. Are you out of your mind? Really? Like somebody's super motivated because of the timing that you got them into their world, that you're gonna lay on a fucking beach and they're gonna hustle? Have you broken down these concepts into a sentence and reread it back to yourself?
And I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about this backstage. We were talking about the biggest fallacy in this business is somebody thinks that I'm going to recruit that one rock star that's going to make my money for me. And that's what's given
the former high school star in your neighborhood that people really think is cool, that's the guy that's going to make you your money? What the fuck's wrong with you? Now, it gets back to the earlier part. So now that we've grounded it, if you believe it, and nobody should not believe it, that it takes a lot of work, now you gotta ask yourself, what would make you work? The only thing all of you have ever worked hard at is the stuff that you've liked. Right? If my wife asked me to hang a picture in my house right now, I would fight. Some of you will build a whole fucking wing. You gotta figure yourself out. You gotta stop worrying about what everybody else thinks. You gotta figure yourself out, my friends. Figure yourself out and be unabashful, right? Be unabashful. Like, Great, you suck at this. I'm proud that I suck at handy shit. Great, you wanna call me not a real man? Super. How much money you got? It was funny, I was razzing on one of the kids, my assistant, Nate, winner. And this is how I built him. I would razz him, I'm very competitive. I would razz him about my shit. I mean, you're not as charismatic on video as I am. And I was trying to teach him something, and he wasn't learning. A year, wasn't learning. So finally I was like, fuck, I don't wanna I'm done razzing him. I love this kid, he's amazing. I'm like, Nate, the next time I say anything that sounds like what I've been saying, I want you to look me dead in the face and ask me what my handicap is, referring to golf. He's a fucking scratch golfer. I don't think I've played golf 4 times. And then he kept doing it, and it's completely changed who he is. How much, like what he's done professionally, the friends he has kept, the girls he's dating, it's insane. Don't fight on somebody else's turf. Got it? Don't compare yourself to me in social media marketing. Let me save you time. You're gonna fucking lose. On a very serious note, because we've been going one route, if you're happy, you've already won. You should go home. Like if you're happy with how much you make, with your wife, with your kids, with your leisure, with your split, like that's not for me to tell you. That's for you to tell yourself. I really mean it. If you're happy, then then that's it, man. That's the best. This is not about a money thing. This is not about, that's just not. Like I have so many friends that were early Facebook and Twitter. I mean, do you know how many friends that I have that have 50, 80 million dollars in the bank and are miserable? Like fucked up dudes. Because that's not money, and I always hate when friends are like, oh, it's easy for you to say, you have money. I'm like, dude, you knew me when I didn't have money. I was the happiest dude you knew, that's why you were friends with me. Because you're always miserable, Tyler, you fucking fuckface. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know, I mean, right? Like, the far majority of my friends growing up were miserable, and I was such positive energy that was what was attractive, right? People are just so tone deaf. My friends, when Facebook came out and I started getting my shit, all these emails still, opening line, holy shit, Gary, I just saw you on Conan O'Brien or the Today Show or the cover of this magazine. I'm so happy for you. People have good intent on these Facebook messages that you haven't seen in 13 years. You're so lucky, I'm so happy for you, and that's when my shit, I'm like a bull. That word luck, I am lucky. I was born a white male, I was born in Russia and was able to come to America. There's a lot of luck. I was born to a mother that built unbelievable self-esteem into me. So many of you here are not gonna win to the level that I won because you still haven't dumped the poison out that your mom or dad put in you, right? So I'm so lucky. But I'm definitely not lucky professionally. Like every one of those people, my favorite was like, the guy who sends me an email, was a really popular guy in high school, a good friend of mine. I wrote him back immediately, I was like, Doug, awesome to see you, look great, you looked great, his picture. Real quick though, this isn't luck. Let me remind you that in high school and in college, remember every weekend when you and Garrett and T. Adam went to the Jersey Shore and banged chicks? Yeah, I worked, so fuck you with that luck shit. That felt good. Because it sucked. Thank God social media wasn't around back then. The FOMO was far less. Coming to school on Monday and hearing that they hooked up with chicks would have been way harder actually seeing those Instagram photos. Boy, do I hate a lot of stuff about entrepreneurship and being the number one. Most of all, that it's lonely as fuck running my company. I don't like being the moral decision maker of everything. I don't like the stress that, do you know how fun it is to work for somebody else? Do you know how fun it is to be able to say, it's Rick's fault. Everything's my fault at Wine Library and VaynerMedia. All of it. And there's no hiding from it. It's me. Susan sucks? I hired Susan. Or I hired Rick, who hired Susan, or I hired Karen, who hired Rick, who hired Susan. Like, everything wrong in your world is your fault. All of it. All of it. Not your wife, not your dad was a drunk, not your neighborhood. You fucking suck. And the second you go there, shit changes. The second you actually believe me, you're like, all right. And like, it's just a very interesting process. I don't know the stories of when I do this and one person actually does it, but I definitely know my friends and my buddies and my employees that have completely changed their whole lives on it. It's just not me, like, I don't know, it's just very simple. Like, when you spend every minute shifting to, I need to fix this shit that sucks, instead of, I'm gonna sit and drink this Budweiser and watch UFC tonight and complain about all the shit that's fucked up with my friend Rick, who's also a fucking loser. Shit changes.